Thank you for joining us today for the Lesson Pacing webinar for the Equals Math curriculum. Today, we will be going over lesson pacing. This is an example of one complete lesson. Every lesson in the Equals curriculum is 4 pages in length, and while the pacing of the lessons will depend on the individual classroom experience, one lesson will take anywhere from 5 to 10 days to complete. The lesson pages are to be taught in order so the progression of learning stays valid. Activities build and extend to the following page. The lesson begins with the first page, Getting Ready. On this page, students activate background knowledge and review materials and strategies that will be introduced and used to support the lesson objective. On the second page, a new math vocabulary word is introduced. The teacher demonstrates solving a problem. Then students learn to apply the problem-solving steps when solving a problem together. On the third page, teachers introduce the concrete, semi-concrete, and abstract representations of the lesson objective. Students then have the opportunity to solve a problem independently. The last page is the follow-up page. This offers choices for practicing and applying math skills in a variety of ways. There are many factors that can determine the pacing within a lesson. The amount of background knowledge your students have about the objective will affect lesson pacing. Students who are familiar with the current objective may learn the content faster than students who have little to no background knowledge. The amount of students working in the group will affect pacing as well. As you work through the lessons with students, they should be given the opportunity to explore the concepts, materials, and learn as a group. This means taking the time to make sure every student is heard and gets their turn. Naturally, a group of 6 students will take longer to complete an activity than a group of 3. The level of support required by the group will affect pacing as well. If your students require a lot of support, it may require more time to provide time for students to process the information and to use the supports provided. Finally, many students with disabilities require more time to think about and process information before responding. Respecting and allowing time to process information will increase time spent on the lesson. The overview manual provides a pacing guide to help teachers begin teaching at an appropriate pace. Then, fine-tune it to fit student needs. For each level of support, a pacing guide has been provided. Level 1 is for students that require the most support. Each lesson component has been spread out across 2 weeks for students at Level 1. Level 2 is for students that require a moderate amount of support. Each lesson component has been spread out over 1.5 weeks for students at Level 2. Level 3 is for students that require the least amount of support. Each lesson component has been spread out over 1 week for students at Level 3. Level 1 is for students that require the most support, so naturally, the pace of a group working at Level 1 is going to be slower than Level 2 or Level 3. In our example pacing guide, Level 1 should spend 2 full weeks per lesson. Remember, a lesson is comprised of 4 pages. Level 2 is for students that require a moderate amount of support, so naturally, the pace of a group working at Level 2 is going to be faster than a group working at Level 1, but slower than a group working at Level 3. In our example pacing guide, Level 2 should spend 7 days per lesson. Level 3 is for students that require the least amount of support, so naturally, the pace of a group working at Level 3 is going to be faster than Level 1 or Level 2. In our example pacing guide, Level 3 should spend 5 days per lesson. It is up to the teacher to determine the appropriate level for each student. Please keep in mind that level support is fluid within and between lessons. Also, the amount of support you provide can be changed at any time without affecting placement within the lessons. I would like to thank you for your time today. The Equals Math curriculum provides consistency and support as students are introduced to new math skills.